Alright, well good morning everyone and welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel in sunny Florida here in this early morning. And it's been a little bit since we did a video. It's just been absolutely slammed here in the shop, and one of the things we're doing is starting to get loaded up for Bristol. Got the burnout car in there. We will have Soccer Mom loaded up later this week, or actually later next week before we leave for Bristol. Got to get a few more tires mounted up. But yeah, let's show you what else we got going on in the shop. So first thing, aside from this box here, let's get this out of the way. We've got some new tires for Soccer Mom. These new front runners we've been excited to try on one of our own projects, because we just had a regular street tire for Soccer Mom's adventures. New set of 275 drag radials. Woohoo! Definitely need some new tires there. And oh, look what we've got here. There's our new shirt. Let's check it out. Alright, so our new shirts are in. We'll have these at Bristol. For those of you that did the pre-order, I believe they are already on their way to you. And if you want to get one, go to winwithksr.com and you can pick one up. But let's show you what else we got going on in the shop. My chassis still sitting there. I think we've got somebody interested in buying that. Well, there's actually been a few people interested in buying it. I'm not sure if I'm wanting to really sell it, but the more people that want to buy it, the closer I get to, I guess, being willing to sell it. It just looks so cool sitting there. No, not with the Camaro front end on it, but let's take you for a walk around what all we've got going on in the shop. You can see lots of wiring stuff being done on Grant's car here. Got the fuel system on with some different injectors. This is the harness that came with his Max ECU, I believe it is. Yeah, it's a Max ECU they're using. And Eddie's gotten all of the serpentine setup finished. So this is kind of our custom serpentine setup with the late model Volkswagen alternator that fits really tight down in there. Our custom pulley from Performance Driven Design. Same guys that are doing my intake manifold for the Oldsmobile. I did a nice little brace here so that this thing here, this idler, wouldn't flex. And I think this belt works out to be for like a Hyundai or something like that. When we were looking at the belt lengths, we just happened to click on the fitment, and that's what it fit, so that was kind of funny. But a while back, we showed you guys some cylinder heads that had a big hole in them that needed to be welded up. And these are those heads. So there's the repaired chamber. Got new valve seats installed in both of them. Everything's nice and smooth. You guys can't feel it, but nice and smooth on all that stuff. I reshaped the chamber, retapped the spark plug hole, all that fun stuff to get this thing back in action. And then I had them decked at the machine shop. We are waiting on a set of valve stem seals, and they should be in the in our shipment today, and then they will be going back together. So Will's got another of our 5.3 builds coming together. This one has trick flow heads. Gonna have a BTR shaft rocker setup on it. You can kind of see under the plastic there. So we're actually running a little low on engine builds. If anybody wants to hit us up for an engine build, we have gotten caught up on all, but I think we're down to just one after that one. You know, about a month ago or 2 months ago, we had 5 in the pipeline, and now we don't have 5 anymore. We're down to just 1. So the Viper is back in, getting ready for Watkins Glen. That is the same weekend as LS Fest, where I will be at with Soccer Mom. And we're having to do, we made this jig because several of the caliper holes, the brake caliper mounting stud holes, like normally these aren't studs in factory form. We convert them to studs. These are special studs that I forget who has them made, but they're ARP studs. They're the 12 millimeter on the thread inside, and then they're 1/2 inch here, I believe. Anyways, over the years, these have gotten stripped out and then helicoiled, and they haven't been helicoiled straight, was the first problem. And on the right rear spindle, when we were servicing the car after the last race at Road America, this hole here stripped the helicoil out. And that's a problem, because now we have a really big hole in the spindle. Those spindles are not available from Dodge, at least new anymore, so we can try and source used ones. Possibly the used ones might be in just as bad a shape as the ones that are on there. Probably the race car ones get beat up a little bit more because they, you know, there's constant brake service going on, changing the rotors. You're pulling the calipers off to put new rotors on. But our solution has been to make a jig, and then we are installing an oversized time cert kit. We've taken all the dimensions, and this is a really, really thick time cert. So it's a machined piece that's going to be threaded in and should repair all of the threads. Should. We're just getting ready to do the first one today. And we're actually going to redo all of the threads in the rear knuckles on this car because they're all crooked. So we're going to go ahead and fix them all properly. That way the caliper is dead straight to the rotor. We haven't really been having pad wear, like crooked pad wear issues, but getting the calipers off because the studs have been so crooked, what we have had to do is, this one was actually so bad that it had the stud in the top, which you can see there, but then we had a bolt down here, and because it was crooked, I think the bolt trying to go in the hole crooked messed up the helicoil and eventually pulled the helicoil out. So that's what we got left on that. We also have to do a chassis setup, you know, the alignment and all the camber settings for Watkins Glen, which is a little bit, it's going to be a similar setup to Road America for us, maybe just a little bit more camber on the left side of the car. I'll have to think about that a little more, look at my notes from years past. But this truck, neat little truck, has a 5.3 swapped in it, came in for a tune, and it is now transmissionless. I'll show you what we got going on under the hood here without hitting the bottom of the Viper. So real clean swap, nicely done by its owner. But he bought a 4L80 transmission and you know, found a good deal on it, put it in. It seemed to work. However, the speedometer, which uses the output, the vehicle speed sensor on the output shaft of the transmission, wasn't getting a reading. Well, that's what Holley system uses for basing shift points on, all that other stuff. So did some investigative diagnosis and found that there was no reluctor wheel on the tail shaft of the transmission. Unfortunately, that is the first gear assembly or planetary assembly that goes into the transmission. So the transmission had to come out, and we took it over to our local rebuilder, who we have a good relationship with, actually building a car for him. But we took it over there, and he's rebuilding the transmission and fixing the tail shaft reluctor wheel. So that's kind of one of our running funny jokes around here is just a tune. You know, we get emails all the time, just a tune. That's all we need. Well, I would say that 90% of the time it's not just a tune. There's always some other little thing that we need to fix. This one was kind of a big deal. I mean, it's kind of a bummer to pull the transmission out. As you can imagine, that offset our schedule by a few days, because we sure weren't planning on having to pull the transmission. Started tuning this on Monday. Did some basic like idle stuff before I ever even started rolling the truck. Had it on the dyno, started rolling it. Noticed I had no wheel speed sensor or the output shaft sensor on the transmission. So decided to dig in, and I pulled the sensor out of the back of the transmission, looked up in there with a mirror, and noticed that there was no reluctor wheel. So then on Wednesday, pulled it out, got it to the machine, or actually Tuesday I got it to the transmission shop, and it's supposed to be done today. Today's Thursday, supposed to be done today. We'll have to see if they got the parts in and then get it reassembled for us. So that's what it's been like lately around here. It's just been lots of stuff that comes in, things change, shift, get adjusted, and then we're like, oh man, we gotta go do something totally different here on this project. So, which I've been trying to squeeze some jobs in and still get some work done on Spencer's car. You can kind of see I've got some new work done on the firewall there. We're gonna do a video about just the firewall, so you'll see that in another video. But yeah, lots of little stuff like that. We got a big block Chevy cylinder head in that's been trenched right here between the chambers. We got to get that welded up. It's for another shop local to us. The small block Blazer is about ready for pickup. Still needs an alignment, and it still needs exhaust, which you'll hear in just a second. Let's get the door open. Let's pop the hood and show you how this project turned out. But nice little small block. It's an engine I actually built 5 or 6 years ago. So you can see how all that turned out. Got a Holley return style regulator. We used a new factory tank with a, I think we used a 190 gallon per hour electric pump, and then just did a return style regulator. Factory EFI fuel tank, so all that worked out pretty nice. Got the brackets for the power steering and the alternator to be able to use the electric water pump and still have all that stuff. Used one of MSD's new 4 relay wiring board, which we thought was pretty neat, and actually had to sink the radiator up into the core support there, because even still you can see it's pretty close on all of that, how close the fans are to the water pump there, because real small engine bay, big engine, uncoated headers, and want to make sure we have lots of cooling on that, because we do live in Florida and it gets hot here. So I'm going to see how she does. We got power? Yes, we do. Let's give her one pump. Will stay running. So actually, once that warms up, it idles a little bit higher. Idles about 900 out of gear, but you know, that's carburetors for you. It's got an electric choke on it, but it's one of those electric chokes that has a window cut in it. So it still idles a little bit low initially. But, you know, she's wrapped up. Lots of work rolls into something like this. You know, it's surprising how quickly the hours can disappear on like complete fuel system and complete cooling system, as well as we changed all the rear suspension, new rear springs, new rear shocks, inspected the ring and pinion. This radiator install, you know, was pretty involved because we modified it to have the filler neck off to the side here, as well as it tucking up inside the core support, and then repaint it where we chopped on all that. All new wiring out here under the hood. So lots and lots and lots of stuff involved with this. And we wired the fans to where they have 2 different temperature switches. So the fans come on at different temperatures. He doesn't have to worry about turning the fans on, kind of like we do on our EFI equipped vehicles. All the Holley stuff we do, we program the fans to where they come on automatically. Now this car, I wired in a separate switch. Like say one of those switches fails, I have the fans are there on a switch where they can be armed manually as well. So if he wants to cool it down between runs on the drag strip or something, that's pretty easy to accomplish. So that's kind of wrap up on that project. Happy to see this one get back to its owner, and he can go, you know, run to the exhaust shop and have some exhaust done on it, as well as get the alignment done, and then he can enjoy that thing. The buggy, yeah, that's up there on the dyno. And so far we've been just driving it a little bit to break it in. But here later today, I'm gonna actually be making some power pulls on it, and that will be in another video. Kind of got a little bit of time to get that done, squeeze it in between some other jobs that we've got going on over there on the other side of the shop. But I'm gonna run it through another heat cycle, make some low boost pulls, and then we're gonna turn it up and see what kind of power it makes. Supposedly this thing's good for 400 horsepower. I'm gonna assume that's at the crankshaft. We'll find out later today, and you guys can see that hopefully in another video. Yep. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Appreciate everybody watching, subscribing, picking up the new t-shirt. And yes, I will be driving in the Bristol 1000. So we'll see you guys there. We will have merch. We will have the burnout car. And we're gonna complete more than 14 laps this time. Yep. See you guys next time.